Right now, neurons in your brain are firing in patterns you've never questioned, quietly deciding what's real and what isn't, and you have no idea it's happening. Every moment you've ever lived, every memory you trust, every truth you'd stake your life on has been filtered, shaped, and handed to you by a mind you've never once asked to prove itself. And what it's been hiding from you is far stranger than you're ready for. Something deeper. Your mind is actively constructing a version of reality, editing it, filtering it, and delivering it to you like a finished film. And here's the terrifying part. You believe every single frame. You've always believed it. This isn't a metaphor. This is neuroscience. Once you understand what's actually happening inside your skull, the world you thought you lived in starts to look very, very different. Let's start with something simple: a color. In 2015, a photo of a dress nearly broke the internet. Some people saw it as blue and black. Others saw it as white and gold. The same image. The same pixels. Two completely different realities. Scientists explained it with lighting assumptions and retinal processing. But they missed the deeper horror. If two people can look at identical information and see opposite things, what else are you and everyone around you perceiving completely differently? What other realities are quietly splitting apart right now without anyone noticing? Because that dress wasn't the strange part. That was just the door. Here's what's behind it. Your brain receives roughly 11 million bits of information per second from your senses. 11 million. And you're consciously aware of maybe 40 bits. Your mind is throwing away 99.9996 of reality every single second and choosing what you get to see. The question is, who's making that choice and why? The answer is both fascinating and quietly devastating. Your brain doesn't show you the world. It predicts it. This is called predictive processing, and it changes everything you think you know about perception. Your mind is constantly running a model of reality, a living simulation built from past experiences, beliefs, and expectations. And when sensory data comes in, your brain doesn't actually process it fresh. It checks the prediction first. If the incoming data matches the model wins. The raw information gets overridden. You don't see what's there, you see what your brain expected to be there. And almost nobody talks about this part. This means every single moment of your life, you've been living inside a hallucination. A controlled one, yes. A useful one, usually. But a hallucination nonetheless. And Neil Seth, one of the world's leading neuroscientists, put it this way: we're all hallucinating all the time. When we agree about our hallucinations, we call it reality. Sit with that for a second. Now here's where it gets disturbing. If your brain is constantly predicting reality rather than perceiving it, then your beliefs aren't just ideas you hold. They're the lens your brain uses to construct the world. And the lens doesn't just frame things, it distorts them, it bends them, it makes certain things impossible to see. This is why two people can read the same news article and reach completely opposite conclusions. This is why trauma survivors sometimes see threats that aren't there. Their brain's model was rewritten by pain, and now it predicts danger everywhere. This is why you've probably had an argument with someone and thought, how can they not see this? It's so obvious. It's obvious to you, because your brain built a world where it is. But it gets stranger. In 1998, psychologist Daniel Simons ran an experiment that should have been impossible. He showed people a video of basketball players passing a ball and asked them to count the passes. About halfway through the video, a person in a gorilla suit walked straight through the middle of the scene, stopped, beat their chest, and walked off. Nearly half the participants never saw the gorilla. Not because they were stupid, because their brain was focused on a task. And in that focus, it decided the gorilla was irrelevant. It edited out a giant chest-beating primate in plain sight. This effect is called inattentional blindness. And it doesn't just happen in labs, it happens in your life. Every day, right now, think about that friend you slowly lost. Were there signs before the end? Think about that opportunity you missed. Was it always there, waiting? Think about the last time someone told you something about yourself, something true, that you genuinely couldn't see before they said it. The gorilla was always in the room. And this is where the topic starts to become something else entirely, because this isn't really about neuroscience anymore. It's about something more uncomfortable, the possibility that you are, right now, missing something essential about your life, that the mind you trust to guide you, protect you, help you understand the world, is the same mind that hid a gorilla from you, that deleted 11 million pieces of reality every second, That built a world to match what it already believed. And here's the darkest thread in all of this. Memories aren't recordings, they're reconstructions. Every time you remember something, your brain rebuilds the memory from scratch. And every time it rebuilds it, small changes slip in. Emotions color the details differently. New beliefs quietly rewrite old events. The story of your past is being edited, constantly, by the person you are today. This means the memories you're most certain about, the ones that feel most vivid, most real, most defining, are also the ones you've reconstructed the most times, and therefore, the ones most likely to be wrong. Your childhood, your first heartbreak, the moment you decided who you are. All of it, quietly rewritten. Elizabeth Loftus spent decades proving this. False memories can be implanted with a single suggestive question. People have gone to prison based on memories that were accidentally manufactured. And the terrifying thing isn't that this happens in extreme cases. The terrifying thing is that it's the default. It's how memory works for everyone. So ask yourself honestly, who told you who you are? And how many times has your brain reconstructed that story since? Because the version of yourself you walk around believing in, that identity, that narrative, that sense of a continuous you stretching from your earliest memory to right now, it's a story your brain keeps telling itself. And like all stories, it's been edited, details have been softened, other details have been amplified. The protagonist has been made more coherent, more consistent, more believable than the messy reality ever was. You aren't remembering your life. You're writing it. But then something strange happens when you realize this. You could feel terrified. Many people do. The idea that your mind is lying to you, filtering reality, rewriting the past, hallucinating the present, it sounds like the ground disappearing beneath your feet. And for a moment, it does. But here's the reframe. If the mind is a storyteller, then the story isn't fixed. If perception is a prediction, then predictions can be updated. If memory is reconstruction, then the past isn't a prison. The narrative isn't over. It can be rewritten consciously, deliberately, by you. This is why therapy works. Not because it uncovers some buried truth, but because it helps you reconstruct a different story, one that serves you better. This is why humans can recover from trauma that should have been permanent. Because the brain's plasticity isn't just a biological fact, it's a philosophical one. The mind that can lie to you is also the mind that can change. But here's the question nobody asks at the end of that realization. If you can rewrite the story, who is the you doing the rewriting? Not the character in the story, not the memories, not the predictions. Something that seems to stand slightly outside all of it. Watching, noticing, wondering. Maybe that's what you've been searching for all along. Not certainty. Not a fixed reality. Not a perfect, unfiltered view of the world. But the capacity to notice that you're inside a story. To pause. To ask whether it's still the one you want to be telling. Most people never pause long enough to ask. They just trust the film their brain is playing. They assume the reality they experience is the reality that exists. They never see the gorilla. They never question the dress. They never wonder why their memories of who they are keep shifting every time the person they're becoming tells them something new. But you're watching this video, which means something in you already suspected, something in you already sensed that the picture was edited, that the story had holes, that the mind everyone trusts so completely might be the one thing least qualified to be trusted completely. And that suspicion, that flicker of doubt about your own perception isn't a flaw. It's the most human thing about you. It's the only thing in you that might be telling the truth.